The tragic fate of Hannah Clarke, a mother's love, a monster's wrath. Brisbane, Australia, February 19, 2020. The sun rose on what seemed like any other morning. The streets were lively with the hum of daily life, and the summer heat wrapped around the city like a thick, inevitable embrace. For Hannah Clarke, this day appeared typical. She woke with love in her heart, dedicating her morning to her three beautiful children, Aaliyah, 6, Liana, 4, and Trey, 3. She kissed their foreheads, buckled them into her car, and prepared for another school run. Every small gesture radiated her devotion as a mother. What Hannah didn't know was that this ordinary morning was orchestrating her last moments. The tragic horror awaiting her would imprint itself on the hearts of a nation. Hannah Clarke's life was once vibrant and hopeful. Growing up in a loving, supportive family with an adventurous spirit, she dreamed of a life filled with joy. When she met Rowan Baxter, with his magnetic smile and confident demeanor as a former rugby player, she believed she had found her forever partner. At first, their relationship mirrored every romantic ideal. Rowan showered her with attention and promises of unwavering devotion. Yet, beneath the facade, his affection emerged as entangling control. Subtle rules turned into restrictive commands. He dictated what Hannah wore, where she went, and even who she spoke to. What began as love evolved into a cage. In time, Rowan's behavior worsened. Jealousy and paranoia fueled emotional, psychological, and eventually physical abuse. Hannah's life became a suffocating existence of walking on eggshells, where simple acts like smiling at a cashier or spending minutes longer at the gym led to explosive confrontations. Hannah endured it for her children, determined to protect them from the man she once thought loved her. With each attempt to keep the peace, Rowan's outburst deepened in severity. She concealed the pain, hoping somehow to shield her children from the growing darkness. In late 2019, Hannah reclaimed her resolve and courage by leaving Rowan, a choice that would change her life forever. With her children in tow, she moved into her parents' home, seeking solace and safety after enduring years of abuse. However, Rowan viewed her departure as an unforgivable betrayal. Robbed of the control he clung to, he lashed out with renewed malice. Stalking Hannah became his routine, harassing her with relentless texts, disturbing phone calls, and veiled threats. In one message, he ominously declared her actions had destroyed his life and that she would soon pay. Hannah acted with diligence, filing for a domestic violence order and pressing on to rebuild some semblance of safety. Yet, like so many survivors of abuse, protective measures couldn't extinguish the storm brewing around her. Rowan's fury only grew, refusing to be contained by legal restraints. February 19, 2020, began without warning of catastrophe. It was supposed to be another routine school drop-off as Hannah loaded her children into the family car. Little did she know, Rowan was waiting in the shadows, armed to enact his monstrous plan. As Hannah pulled out of her parents' driveway, Rowan appeared, carrying a canister of gasoline and a lighter, tools of a nightmare no parent, no human, should ever envision. He forced himself into her car, commandeering her movements with terrifying precision. In mere seconds, Rowan unleashed unimaginable horror. The stench of gasoline stung the air as he showered Hannah and her children in the flammable liquid. Hannah screamed, pleaded, and fought, her motherly instincts surging as she tried to shield her babies. But Rowan was detached, his actions cold and unforgiving. With the flick of a lighter, flames surged. Hannah stumbled from the car, her body ablaze, her piercing scream sending a shockwave through the quiet suburban street. Her neighbors rushed to her cries, witnessing the surreal scene of a mother fighting for her life, fighting for her children. Tragically, the inferno overcame the car, consuming the lives of Alaya, Liana, and Trey in an act of unthinkable evil. Rowan stood nearby and, as the fire raged, ended his own life with a knife, leaving behind only devastation. Engulfed in flames yet resilient in her final moments, Hannah was found alive on the pavement, her strength defying the impossibility of her injuries. Her trembling voice carried a message that shed light on the horrors she and her children had faced. "He poured petrol on me. He did this," she uttered through labored breaths. "My babies are in the car," she cried, revealing the overwhelming grief bound to her maternal instinct. The anguish in her words, a brief yet piercing testament to her love, was unforgettable. Despite every ounce of resilience, Hannah's injuries claimed her life shortly afterward, but her bravery reverberates louder than her tragedy. A mother and her 3 precious children torn from the world in an eruption of violence left Australia shaken. Hannah's story captured global attention, raising critical questions. Why couldn't the system protect her? How many more would share her fate before action was taken? Hannah's parents, Lloyd and Sue Clark, shattered but steadfast in their grief, made the decision to turn heartbreak into hope. Their voices rose, igniting discussions about domestic violence, coercive control, and the systemic failures contributing to tragedies like Hannah's. With a fierce commitment to advocacy, the Clark family founded Small Steps for Hannah, a foundation dedicated to eliminating domestic violence and coercive control through education, community action, and survivor support. Their efforts shed light on red flags, subtle but significant warning signs that signal the need for intervention before situations escalate. Hannah Clark's life is etched into the fabric of collective memory, not solely as an unfathomable tragedy, but as a movement for tangible change. Her story is a wake-up call, a stark reminder that love, when twisted into control, becomes anything but love. The names Hannah Clark, Alaya, Liana, and Trey are now beacons of advocacy. Their light illuminates the path toward eradicating domestic violence, reinforcing the unyielding power of community and awareness. For survivors of abuse still hidden in the shadows, Hannah's tale carries a message of solidarity. There is help, and there is hope. If you or someone you love is trapped in an abusive relationship, reach out. Speak up. Resources exist to break free from the cycle of